So notice how the converter works in this car. That's 308 gears. Hello. So that's a stock engine with 308 gears. The very first time my son had that car down the track. That car had an open rear in it, open headers, because we didn't have time to put the exhaust on it because we got it running and he wanted to go to the track. And he had never even had tried that car down the road or anything. He didn't know how to work a converter yet. He wasn't used to none of this stuff. So the converter, I said in my last segment, we're going to go over this a little bit. That converter was a 4500 stall, 8-inch converter. Now it sounds a little bit weak, but keep in mind that was a stock engine, first time out, with open headers, and the car still run 12s. So what we did after that, we put 355s in it and a pair of south side bars, and the car went right out and went a 1260, then a 50, then a 40, right on down till my son finally got it into 12 O's. So that's what you can do with stock stuff. Now here's something that I wanted to tell you guys, and I thought this was funny. The reason I did this segment tonight, I went over some of the old notes that we had, and this struck me funny because we always talk about budget. Counting the price of the car, my son had $1,290 in that car, and it ran $1,297 or $1,294. $1,297 at 104, first time at the track. And one of the other things that makes me laugh, the car had an open-end rear, so my son said, "Dad, it's going to spin." And I said, "I have a little trick for that." And it's a trick you guys don't want to try to imitate, because I did things that most people don't do. And I had to pray that the officials at the track didn't look under the car too well, because what I did to make that car hook was this. I had a piece of wood, a block of wood, laying in the driveway, which I kept to block the cars from rolling when I work on them and things like that. I always kept a few blocks of wood laying around. And I jacked the car up. I pried the weight off of the spring on the passenger side of the car, pounded that block of wood in there, then a couple nails around it so it couldn't pop out and sling on somebody else going down the highway, or have some misfortune like that happen. Yeah, I did think a little bit, guys, but it's a bad thing when I think. That's a dangerous situation. But that's what we did, and I wanted to let you guys hear that converter work with no gear in the car. And like I said, it doesn't sound the best there, but it's one of them deals. It's a stock engine, and all it had done to it was a 650 carburetor, double pump carburetor, the Action Plus intake, and I don't remember if we had put the 4-hole spacer on that at that time or not. So my son remembers all these things. He has it pretty well documented. but I don't remember that. But I at least wanted to show you that. What I really wanted to show you was the car run with that gear, and there's other videos on my son's channel, because that's what that's off of. I have no fancy way to edit things and putting it on my channel like you guys do fancy things. I have no way of doing that. But my point is this: I wanted to show you that and then show you the car with the 355s in it. But now if you go on my son's channel, Adam Grover Boys Racing, you guys can see all this. And if you go in the description, it tells what gear was in the car and pretty much what was done at that minute, at that time. So we have one video on there where we actually went to look at the car, and the old man was out there that owned it. The car was so rotted, nobody wanted that car. They're like, "You bought that car, Adam? That thing was all rotted out." And I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll doctor it up." I doctored the car up with all the rust just to make it look presentable to go to the track with, and the car's been like that since we got the car. And it's just now, well, last year or so, it's starting to peel a little bit where I glassed it, and there was no metal there. I just used what I had around the yard to doctor it up. Nothing fancy. I put what tin we had laying there and used a little Bondo and fiberglass. It wasn't going to be a show car. It was just to have a little fun with it that minute. And then my son did want to fix it up and put a really nice paint job on it and things like that. But as you guys see on the channel, we go through quite a few vehicles. We have big ideas for certain builds, and sometimes it doesn't go the way we want because something else comes along and we wind up doing something different. I think the only thing we have that stayed around for a while is the Green Gangster, which was my car first, and my black coupe, and the black car you just saw. Now, one thing I wanted to make a little comment about was last segment I did. I said the transmission and the converter we had put in the Fairmont, but that transmission that we put in the Fairmont was out of that black car that you just saw. So that converter was actually designed for that car when I told the guy how I wanted the converter to work. So I didn't want to mislead anybody. You're like, "Well, Terry said it's in a Fairmont," and I looked on here, I don't see the Fairmont. No, you won't see the Fairmont on YouTube unless my son decides to put a few more segments out. And I'm not sure that he has that car where he could actually put it on YouTube. I haven't talked to him about that. I like to have all the footage that he has with all the races he's done, because there's a lot, and it's pretty neat to watch what he came up against. Stroker Windsors and Stroker LS's with 300 and 400 shot of nitrous, and motorcycles, 8-second bikes. Yeah, he didn't tell anybody, no, that's for sure. I guess he takes after me. He wanted to race, and whatever the outcome was, he was willing to accept it, I guess. So he did put money up where I probably would never put that much money up on a couple of races. He's a little different than I am that way. But anyway, I hope that shows you guys something here. I kind of figured it out to be $100 per second on a roundabout, goofy way. Well, the car goes 12s, and you have $1,200 into it. That's $100 per second. So I don't need no math gurus telling me I'm wrong about that, so it's just a joke. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for taking time to watch. I'd like to have done this segment a little bit different. Well, I'd like to do it a lot different. I have a lot to show you guys, and I just don't have the way to put it together like everybody does, putting their cars back to back and all that stuff. I hope to one day to be able to do that stuff, but right now we're just doing these videos the best we can. And I did promise you guys something a while back, and I've kept my word that there'll be a blunder or a mistake in every video, and I've stayed true to that. There was about 3 of them last night. One was, I told you guys the car went 14.0, and then next breath I said 1390 because I looked at my notes wrong. And I think that was due to, my son said we picked up 1/10 changing the intake. So going from the torquer to the accelerator. But I don't want to say that to be true and then have my son say, Dad, that's not where that 10th came from. So disregard that. I'm just trying to give you an idea where I might have pulled that blunder for those who catch my mistakes like that and overlook it so well. So anyway, guys, I want to say thank you. I appreciate all you all the time. And I'm going to try to give you guys some sneak peeks at some of the races we've had with the car and show you what we came up against. But if you really want to see some of the stuff, all you have to do is go to my son's channel, like I said, and it's all there. Instead of watching me tape it off my son's channel to show you fellas. Because a lot of you new subscribers don't know some of the stuff that we've done. And, well, if you're in the racing, you're going to like it, and you'll get a kick out of it. And it will sure inspire somebody that thinks they need a lot of money. So, that's what this is all about. I'm all about the budget. It's because I don't have any money, so everything's a budget to me. On a serious note, that's true. No, on a serious note, cheap is good as long as you can get by with cheap. But then again, cutting corners and trying to cheap out can get you in trouble too. So remember that. There's a fine line when we do something on a budget and trying to do something that might get us in trouble, trying to cheap out. So I thought I'd throw that in there. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. So anyway, with that, I want to thank everybody once again and say God bless. Have a good night. Take care.